All right, Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power. Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rachak, Wadash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, whomever you may be, wherever you may be. Shalom, Yasharala, Shalom. All right, so we're going to get into something real brief. Another AI chat here. This one's coming from payments.com. So it says how digital payments and data are flipping the script for healthcare payables. Thought I would just put it in do not disturb. Yeah, I did. Okay. Anyways, I mean, it's okay. Like I said, the notifications don't bother me. It just be other things. But I was just curious though, because you put in do not disturb, but still things are popping up. All right. Anyways, so it says how digital payments and data are flipping the script for healthcare payables. All right. You should already boom immediately in the back of your mind. You know where the topic should be heading. Okay. Which is over there to Revelation chapter 13, man. All right. That CHIP, that micro CHIP. All right. That digital form of transactions. All right. Which will be embedded in their UPC code with their number of that man, which are the Edomites, stemming back to the banking families, which is 666. And that UPC code will be embedded inside the micro CHIP, and the micro CHIP is what they're trying to get insert inside of you. Okay. Now, with that being said, because we should all be familiar with Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, 17, and 18 by now. Okay. If not, go on, get up to speed, man, and do your research, all right? Do your due diligence, getting up to speed with that, because that's the most important prophecy, all right? To understand, you have to know the right thing, okay? And go into your words, all right? Like the word mark, most definitely go into that. Use the blue letter, go into the word mark, and bring a charagma, okay? And continue to go to the root words for that, all right? Because eventually you get to what is grapho, mean to write, which is what we just talked about, embedded with that 666 in the UPC code. Now, to move forward with the conversation, all right? From this particular standpoint, we're talking about what? Light it up, okay? Healthcare payables, all right? So what's about to happen? Well, we're reading I'm not sure if we're going to read the whole article or not. I believe this video is kind of lengthy, but I do want to play it just for the sake of playing it. So let's play the video real quick, and we'll get down there to the rest of the article in a minute, because there's something particular I want to point out. Oh, wait, you know what? I can't do it. You know what? Can't do it. Yeah, we can't play the video, because I don't know what's up with this device. I don't know, maybe an update. I hate these updates, but for a short while now, whenever I have it in do not disturb mode, you can't hear the audio. All right. So I don't know. Maybe I'll just take it off of do not disturb, so I can at least try to play the audio there. Okay. Did it just say I was in Mount Ararat? Hold on, let me play that thing back down. I'm clearly not in Mount Ararat. All right, okay. We got you. An officer here at Payments. Welcome. And today our topic is healthcare payments. This is the latest in our series with Fifth Third Bank. Fifth Third was established in 1858, a super regional bank headquartered in Cincinnati. Known for its strong legacy in digital innovation, it has made significant strides in the healthcare sector. So while providing specialized managed services across verticals, including healthcare, Fifth Third offers a comprehensive suite of financial services tailored to meet the complex needs of healthcare providers and payers, helping solve revenue cycle and payment challenges to ultimately improve the patient experience. And my guest today is Adam Keck. With over 12 years of experience in the payment industry, Adam is a Senior Vice President and Director of Managed Service Solutions at Fifth Third. He leads a team dedicated to delivering innovative solutions in high-growth areas like accounts payables and receivables, with a special focus on healthcare. His expertise spans strategic ideation, product development, and M&A, highlighted by his successful leadership in acquiring big data healthcare and shaping the bank's healthcare payment strategy. Adam, welcome.
Thanks, John. Great to be here.
Adam, let's start out with talking about what patients like, which is refunds and digital payments. But can you tell us a little bit, how are digital payment solutions improving the patient refund experience?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think we've all received refund payments before, and whether it's the expected refund or you get that fun unexpected refund check, which is always good. I think what you're seeing is that there's a bigger need and desire to have digital payments within the ecosystem, and really an ability to more immediately be able to use those funds. And so, what we're seeing primarily is the patients really the desire is to have options and choice. So not everyone wants to receive that paper check anymore. And from a provider standpoint, they have the pain of when somebody gets that paper check and they stuff it in a drawer because it's for 30 cents and it costs them more to print the check. So the digital payments, it really comes down to offering choice and flexibility. The other thing I think that becomes interesting, especially in the healthcare space, is the demographics with which the medical providers are serving can be quite distinct and different. And so it's not a one size fits all that you run into. And so I think really the ability to have that is going to be critical, because some of your patients, they're going to say, hey, drop me a payment in my mobile wallet. I'm ready to go. I digitally know how to work with you. I'm a digital native. Let's go.
Right. And speaking on that, dropping a payment, bam, boom, bam, ready to go. That's what the apps like the FedNow app was created for. Because all across the board, I'm talking about the world, that is, across the whole earth, everyone will have digital banks, and everyone will have their own, form of digital currency, which pretty much the same. When you go into the system, it's just the same, zeros and ones, okay? But everyone will have eventually the same, digital currency. And then you're going to have international payments, all right, from one country to another, from Canada to China or whatever, okay? So that's why those subsystems are set up, all right, to make those international transactions. And across the board, then whether it's the middlemen, digital systems, or the digital banks themselves directly, they're all going to work, in tandem one with another. And it's all to make everything immediate, okay? As soon as the money's sent, the money is there. All right, kind of like I'm sure most, if not all, wire transfers, they happen. All right, but in this the current way things are, it doesn't always happen immediately. All right, there will be no exceptions to the waiting period. If you send $10,000 from Belgium to West California, it will happen immediately. Okay, there will be no wait time, there will be no hours, there will be no days. It will happen immediately, and that's what connects the international payments to run smoothly. Apps like the FedNow. Okay, now to bring it back down a notch to this particular article, why I'm saying all this is important, because as we mentioned, all right, because the scriptures talk about this. I know with the AI chats and stuff like that, various articles, we just try to quote scriptures. You do your diligence to look scriptures up yourself. But scriptures talk about the hour of temptation in the book of Revelation, all right? That is the mandatory implementation. Mandatory meaning you have to take it, because right now it's optional. It's out there and it's optional, okay? But when it becomes mandatory, it means you will have no choice. And this is where things come into play. When they've been talking about merging man and machine, the fusion. If you're not down with it, you're going to be ousted from society. You're going to be seen as rebels. You're going to be seen as terrorists, and so on and so forth, right? So this is the mandatory implementation of the RFID micro CHIP that gives them full autonomy over every aspect of your life from a remote location. As we always talk about, buying and selling is mentioned in the scriptures, but buying and selling is base level to what they're actually trying to achieve with this micro CHIP system and the technology. Buying and selling would be base level. Everything about you will be known. You will be watched at all times. You'll be tracked at all times. They will have, like we're talking about now, all of your medical history and records, and know everything about you, how healthy you are, how sickly you are, or whatever the case may be. You had a bone fracture, okay? You went to the dentist. They're going to know what dentist you go to. They're going to know what hospital you frequent often, or medical center, how long you stay there, what was your purpose, how much you spent there, okay? And they're going to put, as we're going to read, as we go into this, they always put those incentives in there. That's why I always talk about them. And it goes back to the word convenience. But let's play a little bit more of this video real quick.
Others just keep sending me the paper check. I'll keep cashing them, no worries. So definitely need to have flexibility there.
Let's drill down a little bit into that. So what are the advantages of digital refunds over traditional paper checks. Let's talk in terms of cost, speed, and patient satisfaction.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think first and foremost, like you take it from a cost perspective, the cost to produce a paper check and mail it is, I mean, and industry studies can range from as little as $3 up to over $10 a check, right? And that's just the labor, the stock, the postage, all the time that goes into it, the follow-up that has to be done. It's a very expensive endeavor. And again, for some of these refund checks, I mean, these health systems have to refund everything. It has to balance. So it could be a refund where you literally are losing money as soon as that check goes out the door. Additionally, on the provider side, I think you're also running the fact that when those checks aren't cashed and somebody takes that and puts it in a drawer and forgets about it, it creates an escheatment issue that has to be worked on. But from a provider or from a patient standpoint, on the reverse side of that, it's really that ability to have clear understanding and communication of the refund and the purpose for it. And so I think when you're receiving that refund in a digital manner, a couple things happen that are really critical and important from a patient perspective. One, it's really a great opportunity for a loyalty build and outreach from the provider to a patient. When you're reaching out to a patient and you want to pay them money, they're much more likely to engage with you digitally, which gives you an opportunity to update information, contact information, and really create a much better digital journey throughout.
Bam, you see? Create a much better digital journey, okay? By having everything, but that's what we just talked about, convenience. Everything is going to be so-called so smooth when you do things digitally rather than any other previous form in history, right? When you do things digitally, everything's smooth, okay? And this, that, and the third thing, all right? So that's why they're trying to build people up, especially when you get down to the elderly that really need more help, you know, those that might get sent to those homes, or maybe they still live at their own home but by themselves because their kids in some other state or city or whatever the case may be, all right? They can easily be moved by something like this, okay? And I hate to say it, but those would be some of the first ones moved out of the way during the time period of Jacob's trouble, all right? Because they're not going to be seen as efficient, okay? But anyways, let's play a little bit more.
Additionally, for that patient, giving them that digital payment modality also means they may have more immediate access to their funds. They may be able to leverage it in the mobile wallet that I mentioned earlier. They also could have it go directly into their bank account, so see that more immediate impact of the funds and what's going on. From the provider standpoint, the other benefit of digital, though, is it truly is loyalty and branding. One of the things that's changed in healthcare with the fact that more and more of the patients are taking on the cost of care responsibility is that really a key decision factor is how is their payment experience with the health system. And that's going to influence whether they come back to another doctor visit, switch providers. Obviously, that goes below the quality of care being the number one driver. And so having that ability to engage with your patients in a more digital manner, create and push your brand to them becomes more seamless. For the nonprofit space, it creates a really great opportunity where you could even put unique messaging. So we have some non-for-profit hospitals that we work with where one of the things they like to do is in a digital refund opportunity, they can actually also promote their charitable donations that they support. And so it gives the patient an opportunity to also donate, give back to a broader cause and mission that the nonprofit may have. So it's just a really great engagement tool.
And so, like I said, it goes back to that one word that you hear all the time when you talk about digital things. It's convenience, man. And that's how their technology are. And we can even say that some things that he's creating are very convenient. Some things that they create are very nice, but it's the plan behind why they create these things. See, they push the convenient things on the masses. Okay, like this is so nice. It can do this. It'll help with this. It'll ease the stress of that, and so on and so forth. But the reason behind it is what they're not telling you. Like it says in Ecclesiasticus, man. Okay, never trust thine enemy, for as iron sharpeneth. For as iron rusteth, so does his wickedness. Okay, and at the end, he will declare his wickedness all the time. Push these digital things onto people, and once you've been immersed into the system, it makes you want it. You get the system, and then once you get it, now they can laugh and say, ha 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 ha, like why are they laughing? Because they got you. They're not going to tell you what they want you to get their technology, their digital, their CHIPs and things for. They're not going to tell you. They're just going to market it to you. Use PR to market it to you. Bring all this convenience. Bring in incentives like if you do this, you get that. or you can get this money back and this will be more helpful to you and, blah, 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 and all this stuff. And once they get you into the system, there's no way out of it. They got you now. Now they don't care what you think or feel about it. They can just show their horns. Okay? He had 2 horns like a lamb, but he spake as a dragon. All right? So this is what we're trying to warn you about. They're going to hit the American, all the world really, but I'm here in Babylon the Great. All right? The greatest place of prophesying is right here in the heart of Babylon. But they're going to hit them all of us really, but through the spirit and power, Yahweh Shah, Lord, we have the spirit to deny this man and his system and everything that he's throwing at us. All right, we're not buying what you're selling, okay? But like I was saying, they're gonna hit the people on every single level. It is all because these plans are being planned out for I don't know, probably centuries, decades now, maybe. Okay. But these things have been planned out for a very, very, very long time. And every nook and cranny possible they have explored. Like the scriptures say, they accomplished a diligent search. They are wiser than Daniel, so on and so forth. They've thought about every nook and cranny and every avenue, and they're going to hit the people with every avenue. There's going to be no stone left unturned with these people. They're going to know where to hit you and how to hit you to try to, as I mentioned before, corral people into their digital systems. All right. I'm going to play a tad bit more. We'll probably get into the article.
Overall, the other piece, we talked about the cost a little bit earlier, is the fraud component of check is just so rampant. When you look about the overall ecosystem, about 80% of all organizations surveyed have had some sort of fraud attempt occur, and check continues to be the number one vehicle that fraud's happening on. And so by getting that out of the ecosystem, it also is just protecting the health systems, and also ultimately is making sure the funds are ending up in the right hands.
So is that fraud detection and defense, is that part of how payment solutions can simplify the achievement process for healthcare providers?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, when you do these processes and you move to digital, part of the solutions you also want to look at is what is that achievement process on the back end? Because it's great if you can move to a digital payment modality, but what you don't want to do is unintentionally create an issue where you now have to achieve multiple payment modalities, or you're still left with a back office headache, because that does create a risk of compliance, regulatory liability for the health system. And so by finding a solution that can provide the digital payment experience, but also on the back end, the ability to also see how the achievement can be handled and offload that work off of the provider is a really critical piece, because it's going to cut down on the risk of potential fraud. It could also cut down on any compliance liability risk, and it's also going to cut down on the workload on the back office, especially for some of these smaller health systems where they don't have a huge staff that's working on refunds. I mean, the achievement process can be a real impact on their workflow and capabilities. And so the ability to get that.
All right, so let's just stop it right there. So let's go down here to this article. There's some little portions I want to get here. So let's read this from the top. It says, so doctor visits and medical bills are a fact of life, but occasionally the payments tables are turned in favor of the patient in the form of refunds or I can't say it because my screen. Okay, disbursements. All right. That's what we just talked about. All right. Incentives. Okay. I'm trying to throw at you. It says it's a happy event, to be sure, and sometimes an unexpected one, but all too often, the reimbursement is issued in paper form, where the checks sit motoring in the desk drawer, soon to be forgotten, or the payment amounts to only a few dollars, which won't solve many problems in today's healthcare environment. Okay, so it says Adam Keck, Senior Vice President and Director of Managed Service Solutions at Fifth Third Bank, told Payments that healthcare payables are burdened by the cost of paper-based payments. And often it costs more to send out those payments than the patient disbursements are, in fact, worth. Okay, now I want to jump down here to talk about fraud. It says fraud, well, that's on the rise as check-related scams run rampant and bad actors intercept those checks right at the mailbox before they ever get into the recipient's hands. By and large, he said, the patient experience is paramount, and when it comes to refunds, the experience comes up short. Now, here's really the paragraphs I want to get down to, okay? I'm going to read this. So it says, patients, of course, like refunds, and they like digital payments, but they want but they want choice to. And there's no one-size-fits-all approach to getting funds into patients' hands. Digital wallets are gaining popularity. Yes, they are, because the digital system is here. It's just not fully blown all over, especially not to the point where it's now mandatory, as we talked before. But these things that are talked about in the scriptures, these things are here, man. The prophecies are rolling, all right, straight through the front door, okay? So it says digital wallets are gaining popularity, and Keck noted that digital channels offer providers the added benefit of being able to send data-rich communications with those payments so that there's a wide understanding of what the payment is for. It says when you're receiving the refund in a digital manner, Keck said, it's a great opportunity for a loyalty build and outreach from the provider to the patient, which is what he was talking about in the video, which leads to an opportunity to update information such as contact info and create a bigger digital journey for the future. Yeah, because what's coming in the future? The digital system. So if you get used to a digital system now, right, there's only going to be two avenues. They get you used to it now. Then comes the digital system, and they're going to say, hey, this is the new way. You got to do this. And you like, and someone may say, no, I don't want that. I'm not comfortable with implanting a device in my hand. Well, there's no other way for you to continue doing this, doing that, getting help, getting money, so on and so forth. And a lot of people are going to buck when they're going to fold, and they're going to go along with it. Then there's the other avenue where they're going to get people used to it. The digital system is going to come, and then they're going to be so wooed by the convenience and other things like, oh, wait, yeah, this is a better thing than what we've been dealing with. It's the same thing, but it's just better, and just going to go along with it. All right, there's only two avenues, because the third avenue is not under the Esau, okay? The third avenue, okay, are the hopeful like remnant, who, Lord willing, will deny everything this man is throwing out here, during these times of trouble, man. That's the only other avenue. That's the avenue that we're lined up to go into. All right, we don't, like I said before, we're not buying what you're selling. We don't want any of this, okay? We're happy to go off the grid. All right. So it says, which leads to an opportunity to update information such as contact info and create a bigger digital journey for the future, because your whole life will be on that micro C-HIP, and it will be in the hands of these banking families, man. And then they have other forms of technology. They have super surveillance, okay? So it goes back to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. They want to call themselves I am. They want to be God. And they think that they're going to achieve that, and they're not. Okay? And that's why we always mention when we go into these AI chats, man, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. And that name Satan in the Hebrew is Shaitan, which means adversary. And we know there's a spiritual demon, Satan, but we're not talking about the spiritual demon on that left-hand side of the Lord. No, we're talking about the people, as it says in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, whose coming is after the working of Satan. So we're talking about a people on the earth who are called devils, which are the Edomites. All right. And so this same Satan that's talked, like it talks about in Revelation chapter, I forget chapter, but in Revelation, he shall cast you into prison. Satan shall cast you into prison. The devil shall cast you into prison. Those are the same banking families that are controlling that. Okay. The devil's going to come down with great wrath. That's the same banking families that are in control behind that. Okay. So these ones that are after the working of Satan, that's the Satan is talking about. These banking families. That's the adversary who is trying to hit the whole entire earth with all these things. Also in the Revelation. All right. Oikoumene. All right. The hour of temptation, the same scripture. I believe that's Revelation 13 and 10. It talks about the hour of temptation. Or I might be thinking about another scripture. Okay. But anyways, the point being, where it says to try the whole world, and that word world in that scripture is oikoumene, meaning all the inhabitants of earth, all the people. They don't care if you're elderly, they don't care if you're newborn babies, they don't care if you're pregnant or anywhere else in between. They want to see hip everybody, and it starts with you Israelites, because it all goes back to that birthright. Hebrews 12, verse 16 and 17. It says that loyalty, he said, is going to be a key determinant in whether a patient will keep coming back to a provider. And there are ancillary benefits to the providers, he said, as they can use the moment of digital interaction to promote charities that they support, particularly if the provider is a nonprofit hospital. That just helps them. It says the shift to digital payments still represents a technical and organizational consideration for healthcare companies, said Keck, who added that back office processes need to be examined. Offloaded the technical details to a provider such as Fifth Third, cuts down on fraud and potential compliance and liability risk. This is especially true for smaller health systems, Keck said, that do not have a huge staff that's working on refunds. And that's pretty much, where we stopped in that video there. And there's really not much more to this article here. Let's see what the bottom says here. It says these networks have a real lift, Keck said, because of their ability to convert paper processes and payments to electronics, which can unlock working capital benefits. You see? Incentives. That's what we talked about. The network effect will only be compounded as improved with the adoption of artificial intelligence, he predicted, helping guard against business email compromise and other types of fraud. Faster payments and requests for payment will also draw buyers and suppliers and providers and patients close together. As he told Payments, there's a growing need and desire to have digital payments throughout the healthcare ecosystem and to more immediately be able to use those funds. And the patients want options and choice. And that's why they're desensitizing to you these things to you now and talking about instant payments and all these things, because that is exactly what this whole digital system, or part of what the digital system revolves around. Okay? Instant payments, all sorts of information about your life within the micro C-HIP, and they want to put it inside your body, and it makes you a permanent slave to them. All right? And that's why we constantly warn about this thing over and over and over, because this is the biggest prophecy that's going to happen, well, I speak as a man, in my opinion. It's not the biggest prophecy. To me, the biggest prophecy that ever happened is salvation. All right, to the elect, Lord willing, we have that number. That's the biggest prophecy, salvation to come. Okay, but as far as when you're talking about the doom and gloom of things, then the AI takes the cake. Okay, or the digital system, it takes the cake. All right, because this is what has to happen. All right, in this earth, where it's going to be a separation of those that fear the Lord and those that fear Esau. All right, a mere man. All right, a mere mortal. Okay, who's a scared little boy crying about a birthright. All right, and they become very sloppy in their activities because of that, because they know they have a short time, like it says in Revelation 12:12. All right, but we're moving into these things, man, and they're coming quickly. All right, these things are happening lightning fast, believe it or not. All right, if you're paying attention, and before you know it, the digital system could be here, and who knows how long after that before the real bombs start flying of World War III, because there's nations fighting now, but those certain things written about concerning World War III, Armageddon, are not going to happen until after this whole digital system comes into play. And so when it does come into play, things can happen rapidly, or there could be a quiet before the storm. But we know that the micro C-HIP being implemented, the whole digital system, that's the climax of the Lord's movie. Once we get there, we're at the height of all the action. Then comes, you know how it is when you get to the climax, then you have all the final action leading up to the end scenes. That's what the micro C-HIP and that whole digital system is. It's the climax of the Lord's movie. Then Jacob's Trouble is all the other remaining action, and then the end of the movie is gonna be bombs dropping, America destroyed, salvation to the elect, and then you have to be around for the sequel, which you got salvation, because the sequel is Revelation 21 coming back down out of that chariot, all right, to just do these heathen nations out of these bunkers or these banking families or whatever, out of these bunkers or whatever, and so on and so forth. But you get the picture. So we're going to leave it at that, and that was it anyways. Let me get the headline for you. It says how digital payments and data are flipping the script for healthcare payables. So you see how they're merging everything, and this is because we've been talking about it, okay? Get with the apostles on down, the little guys like myself. Your whole entire life, just to generalize it, which that even can't even say enough, but your whole entire life, everything about you, your favorites, your most dislikes, your pet peeves, whatever, everything will be on that micro C-HIP. If you take it, and your health care and all those things is no different. It'll be a part of it, and that gives them that sense of being God and you as their permanent slave. So we leave it at that. Lord willing, you edify to next time. I'm going to say shalom.